to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here it goes again. Another Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. This defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon comes in. Welcome to 2025. Today. Just one the other way. It gets no going back. That's the drag. Locks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money.
Takes his shot for Derby. Flag out. Doesn't matter. Touchdown.
It's one play. I mean, does that really mean, what's the difference between, like, we were watching film, what would it be when you said, this is where we were out coached, or is it just you got hit by a play, or if you're out physical, is it a technique issue, is it a strength issue?
So to me in college football, the word out coached, every time we lose, we get out coached. Because we don't have a GM, right? So me personally, every loss that we have, I'm responsible for every single person in this organization. So it doesn't matter if we miss a tackle or if there's a bad scheme or if they get us schematically. It's outcoached. Like, that's how I view it, is the extreme ownership of I have brought every single person into this organization. So if we miss a tackle or if we don't make a play or if we have a bad scheme or something like that, that all falls on me. So maybe out-coached isn't always the perfect term, but at the end of the day, everything always falls on me. So when we have failures or we don't hit an expectation for a multitude of reasons, it's my fault. That's what I mean by out-coached, is there's nowhere else, like, who else do I look at? Everybody's here because of me, right? Which means everything falls on me, and it should. Like, every bad thing ever said about this program should fall directly on me, not our players, because it's I brought them here. That's our job to put them in the best position to succeed. And that 100% is on me. So that's what I mean by when I said that.
Back to the Big Eddie Max.
Hello.
Most importantly, you talked about last year, talked about Baron Morton being able to expose your defense a little bit with the short game and that sort of thing. Wire his staff to be kind of correct for two quarterbacks, as will you. What have you kind of seen on film already on what Phil Campbell is good at from an athletic standpoint, and how different is it going to be from what you saw with last year?
In everything, he's really good. He's a really good young guy. You know, like they said, they have him on a 2-year deal because they, obviously the resources combined with they believe in him. They knew that, this is a guy that's going to be their future, and he 100% is their future there. And he's a phenomenal player. He can make all the throws. You saw him do that at the end of the Utah game. You can see him scramble, make plays with his legs. So he can really do it all. He's a heck of a player, and he's only getting better.
And then a quick follow-up to that on the other side of the ball, Rodriguez, the amount of guys that they just had that have they spread the field wide, it seems. What have you just seen from this defense on film in comparison to last year that may have silenced guys in the run game last year in Lubbock, but how they can maybe attack it differently?
Yeah, well, new defense coordinator who does a really good job. Obviously, came over from Houston. It was at Houston last year, and they did a really good job on defense at Houston. He's multiple 4 down, 3 down, bear, pressure, no pressure, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Sometimes you play teams and you kind of know what you're going to get. Definitely not that type of team. Lets his guys play free, and they have really really good personnel that play free and play twitchy, and their defense as a whole, they're leading pretty much every statistical category in our league, and almost they're top 10 in the nation, top 5 in almost every statistical category because their front seven. It all starts in front seven. It's not a knock on their back end. The back end's really, really, really good as well. But their front seven is, majority draft picks.
Hey, Coach Kevin Hicks, Arizona State on SI. I was just wondering if you have any health updates for players currently at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Cyrus is going to be out for the year. He's having surgery, unfortunately. X is, significant. He's going to be out for a significant more time. Hopefully, we'll find a way to get it back at the end of the season. But he'll be out for a significant amount of time. Unfortunately, Ben Coleman is going to be out for the year, which is unfortunate. So he'll be out. There's some other guys I don't want to comment on yet, just because it's Monday, so I don't quite have a strong of a grasp on that. Those are the new guys, the guys that I'm kind of back and forth. So I'll have more of an update here, tonight for me, Tuesday/Wednesday for Bill.
Quick follow up. Is a medical red shirt on the table for Cyrus?
100%. Yeah. He had surgery, so we'll file the waiver and we'll go from there. So 100%. That's a great question. It's a very knowledgeable question.
Jordan in the back.
For Sports 360 just the past couple days, I know you're just probably seeing the guys for the first time this morning, but anybody stepping up in terms of, trying to just get the mentality on the right path, or is it just?
Yeah. I think what's funny about sports is there's an external image, then there's an internal image. And if you are taking the external image and it's affecting the internal pieces of your program, you've got major problems. So for us, it's the same thing we always do. And I know nobody likes to hear that, but consistency is what builds it. From now till forever, when you're building something, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. You're going to fly sky high and win a game like a conference championship by 30. And you're on top of the world, then you're going to lose a game by what the heck? It's because you're still building it. You're still getting there. You're not there yet, right? And everybody wants it to happen so fast. Got worried. 4-2. Feel pretty good about that, right? We have all of our future ahead of us. So I don't think it's as dramatic of a scenario as people kind of want this to be. There's a lot of teams in the country who wish they were sitting in our position right now with the entire season ahead of them and all of their goals achievable. So I just don't think it's as, not quite as dramatic as we wanted to make it, unfortunately, for the media.
Damon up front.
Hey, Coach Damon Allred at Arizona Sports. You faced him last year at Texas State, and he was credited with recruiting Cam Ward back at Frankfurt. How impressed have you been just with Mac Leftwich's first year up in Power 4?
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. He was a guy that, to be honest, he was a guy that we interviewed for the job here because he worked with Sean Brophy, a guy I came near and dear with, and he absolutely hit it out of the park. I just wanted a guy with head coach experience. He was an absolute stud. He was a stud at Texas State last year. His dad was a stud in his profession. He grew up in his profession. He's been a stud there at Tech, so he's an absolute superstar. He's a future head coach, 100% for sure. Like I said, he's done a phenomenal job there.
And then quick follow-up. I presume you're locked into the season at hand and week at hand, but as your name pops up in coaching searches elsewhere, do you have conversations internally with players or anything like that about that?
No, I don't even know. I thought I was talking about being fired. I didn't know I was talking about that. My brain doesn't process that.
Back correctly, you see that team. What's going on with Sam Leather?
Status quo. I mean, we're gonna find out more Tuesday, Wednesday. I know people think there's no gamesmanship here. This is just purely being honest. And sometimes when you're honest, people create fake things because sometimes honesty is just rare. So I think the fact that we're being honest with this situation is making people uncomfortable. Reality is he's day to day. We're going to find out when we move him around on Tuesday and Wednesday's practice if he's good enough to play on Saturday. So more of an update on mid this week.
I think what's got everybody concerned is he played a week ago, he had a bye, then he came out and practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, then he wasn't good for Saturday. That externally looks like what's but
Yeah, I would agree. And then I would say anybody who came to practice, did he move around at those two practices on Tuesday, Wednesday? Did he run? The answer is no. He only threw drop back pass, no scrambles, no nakeds. Right. So yes, did he practice? Yes, but it wasn't full practice, right? And then we made a decision because Jeff got all the reps in the bye weeks. Sam sat out. Jeff got all the reps. We wanted Sam to get reps on Tuesday and Wednesday, thinking he was going to play. Didn't progress like we thought. So we said, okay, well, Jeff's the guy. Obviously, without a bye week, that decision of Sam's going to happen a little bit faster. And we're going to have to mix reps more this week in terms of who's going to, go. We'll have to make a little bit quicker decision. But when you're coming off a bye, we got to get some reps of that during the bye week, like Jeff got. And in hindsight, I definitely would have gotten Jeff 100% of the reps there. But, Sam's like a better. Sam played with broken ribs last year. So, I mean, everybody thought he was playing until it was like, man, this thing really didn't get much better. That sucks. Because it got, past TCU, gave him a week off, and then thought it would get better, and it really didn't progress like we thought. So we're still kind of in that same holding pattern, I would say, unfortunately.
appreciate the update. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Ryan, head coach Ryan Myers, that was digest. And looking at the run defense for you guys against a really good Utah quarterback that also knows how to scramble himself and use his legs. How do you analyze that performance and kind of take it? Were you guys usually pretty good on the defense? And kind of
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't tackle him. It was impressive. Like, it wasn't fun to be on the other side of not being able to tackle somebody. We couldn't tackle him. He had 12 yards carry. Like, that's not ideal. Yeah, no, they do a great job schematically. They did a great job. They put a 350-pounder at tight end and said, we're going to run the ball at you. And they did that. Like I said, going into the game, that game was a culture game, right? And that day, they out-physicaled us. And somebody does that, there's not many answers you can have when, people move people. That's something I always say. People move people, and don't tackle people. You can run out of things.
And a quick follow-up to that, then looking at the way Texas Tech dominated against Kansas as well, how do you kind of reanalyze your run defense then this week? It's kind of
like I told the guys, we've been one of the best run defenses in the country for a year and a half. That's our culture. If we're going to let one game dictate our culture, like I don't know what to do. Like, we got to stay true to what we have proven to do in the last 17 games, or not the 18, but the last 17. In the last 17 games, we've usually won the line of scrimmage. The majority of the game, won the line of scrimmage. If you can't let one game versus a team that runs a triple option, that did a phenomenal job in that triple option, affect how we play football. They got us. They beat our butt. Physically, right? All aspects of it. Like, you can't let that drag over. We know who we are as a team. So let's go back to that. Let's go play good run defense again, like we've done for the 17 prior games. So there are no drastic changes. Absolutely not.
Jim.
Yeah, next man up, and it really, when you get injured, it really affects special teams. So that's where it shows up probably the most, and it's because you get really new depth on specials. But yeah, it's the next man up mentality. Like, who's up, you got to go, and you got to be able to make plays. And I think I thought Jeff did a good job of that last week. We watched the tape with him. How many makes the ball went to where it was supposed to go for the majority of the reps. But I think across the board, for us, the football team, the next man up has to step up. They have to play well because the reality is nobody cares. It's not a world where people care, right? Reality is you're playing football at Arizona State now. There's expectations at Arizona State that used to not be. That is great. Like, I would much rather people be pissed off at being 4-2 than people be singing and parading around the city. Like, this is a great expectation that we're creating. With that becomes handling expectations, because it's nearly impossible to consistently reach expectations. It's not like it's very, very difficult to every year hit the expectation set because they should be set so high if you set it correctly. So for us, it's how do you handle it when you don't hit the expectations? And I think regardless of who's playing, nobody cares. The goal is to go play our best football. It doesn't matter what the expectations are. How do we play our best football? We didn't do that last week. We got to go do that this week.
Okay, just to dial in a little more on that last question. So with the two home line injuries, I know Jalen played some champions come along. So like, what do you do there, especially with big games for center and against special effects teams?
Yeah, guys just got to go out there and it's a good challenge. To be honest, you got to protect your edges. Like I said, they have 5 to 6 defensive linemen. No important people that are going to get drafted, which is impressive. That's a positive for them. It's a lot of guys going to get drafted from the front. Linebackers are top notch. They're just cut across the board, but specifically that defensive line. Yeah, they're really talented, and we got to be able to protect our line so they're not just isolated. Like the game of football is not just one-on-ones on the perimeter; it's also the one-on-ones in the box. You've got to be able to shield our guys to create the best matchups there. That's what.
How do you feel about their age and meta game plan?
Yeah, like I said, I think they're getting better every single week. And I think Wade moving to center was because he produced. I think Clem getting on the field 2 weeks ago was because he's shown to produce, and he played pretty decent in the game. I was happy with how he played when he went in. Like I said, move the ball. Once again, the goal is to score, not move the ball. We start scoring, which is unfortunate. Move the ball, not score. That sucks. 8 possessions. I think all of them went 2 or over 7-play drives or something like that. So their team scored points. That's stay out of the way and got to hit some explosives. One that we had 0 explosives in football. You can't win a game versus a team getting 0 explosives.
About the score line, questions. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got a new guy in the first play, you got to hold the call. Now should be 2nd and 5, and it's 1st and 20. Versus a good team in the red zone, that's not ideal. But at the same token, like I said, all of it, everything that happens on that field was somehow associated and affected by me. So myself, our staff has to find a way to how do we put our guys in the best position to be successful in the current state that we're in and rock and roll. And I've got a lot of confidence in this. I got a lot of confidence in the football team, regardless of who's hurt, who's out. Like I think we have a good roster. I think we have a good young roster. I think some young guys are going to have to step up like they are. And you got to grow up fast versus one of the, in my opinion, top 5 team, a team that can win a national championship this year. We're going to have to grow up fast, play in a great home environment. I think that was our first conference loss and 8 losses. I think they're breaking the record. We had the most, so we got to get back on that track. Have a good home streak, see what happens, and go play good football.
Speaking of that, it's being a big game, big game here.
Yeah, we got to have an advantage. This is a really good football team. This is a top 5 tier. Well, I don't know what they're ranked, but they're a top 5 team in the country. We just played Utah. They beat Utah. I think Utah's one of the top teams in the country. So they're definitely a top team in the country. So we need to be loud. We need to be fiery. This is an absolute game-changing, environment that we can create. The last time we had a home game, the opposing team said we created an advantage. We need to create that same advantage this week. I think that's the challenge. Every home game is some place where people show up and it's loud, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's sold out. I'm pretty sure most of our games the rest of the way are close to being sold out from that perspective, which is awesome. Now we got to go play good football and close this thing strong.
Hey, Coach. With others, no double source. When injury bugs hit teams like this, the common phrase is next man up. You just said it. So, what can the player-led culture that you talked about so much, what can they do to kind of realize that and not have next man up just be coach speak, player speak, and actually see that through?
Well, just because, next man up, that doesn't mean you're going to get the equal production. Next man up is not like players are players. They're people. Some have better skill sets than others at certain things. So the term next man up is just the term of, yeah, that's the new guy. Let's rock and roll. In terms of like how they go about their business preparing, that's where the leaders can really step up. Like, hey, we need you to come up on this day. We need you to come over to our house because we're going to watch pressures on Wednesday or whatever. Right? I think now the preparation piece is where the vets can really help the young guys. And now that you're a starter, hopefully they were already preparing like that as a two. But now that you're the guy, you know, what are the next steps to that in terms of growth and being able to perform at your best? I think that's when leaders can really step up, not from a physical like play perspective. Our guys want to win. I can promise you that.
And what does it say about the coach that you built that you have this level of confidence in how players can kind of call guys into film rooms and meetings and make sure they are prepared for the game setting?
Yeah, and like I said, I think we're in a really good spot as a football program. We're not as a good spot as a football team on Saturday night, right? But we're in a good spot as a football program, and it's my job to keep the program going in the right direction, right? Not the game. Obviously, we want to win every game, but you can't let one game affect your program, right? If you look, Utah lost by 28 points earlier this year, right? Then they come down and beat us by 30 something, right? If you get so lost in that over and over again, what happens if we lose by 14? Is there a panic? No. Now there's a whole different narrative. We're 2 plays away, 3 plays away, right? That's the nature of football. So you can't get lost. It's definitely a reality check because of the physicality, not the score. The way in which we lost, we have to respond to that. That's the fix. We got to get back to being that physical football team that tries to win the line of scrimmage. If we did not do that, then we didn't come close.
Back. Kenny, bouncing off Ryan's question about the running game. Watching a lot of the discussion, not just this week, but the past few weeks about Cameron Dickey, shorter than average, bulldozer, finds easy gaps, not necessarily the average size running back. I'm assuming you probably heard these adjectives. What necessarily have you seen on film about Dickey that reminds you of players maybe you possibly had in the past, and what challenges does he at least present himself with images?
Yeah, physical runner will run you over, will run through you. Great contact balance. So I think when you have the ability to run through you and have great contact balance, if you try to take him on, not square, or you don't try to tackle him, he's going to bounce off you, right? So you have to be able to tackle him, but he's going to run through you sometimes, and he's going to make you miss others. So I think the balance of his physicality, his pad level, and his ability to have great contact balance is what makes him really, really good running backs, and that's what he is he has those 3 things.
But does he remind you of Scat in any way, physically, or just watching him on film? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some similarities from that perspective. They're both similar type players, 100% for similar type players.
Michael,
Coach Michael Carrasino, Pitchfork Lunch. I know you said after the game, obviously, how fast can you wash a game? But with the leader, obviously, the returners you have back and the leaders you have back, how does that help in obviously making the young guys bounce back quick? And just what kind of advantage do you feel? And what do you look for at practice coming off, obviously, a game like this, but from your leaders and just bouncing back?
Just doing how we practice, like the focus and energy. Like we don't need to change anything. We've got a proven way to be successful, right? One game does not change that one way or another. So I think it's just how do we get back to doing what we know is necessary and how to win games. The preparation, went back to square one, same thing, and how you prepare. Like I said, I wish there's a magic potion. There's not. It's the process. We got to go back to the process, and we got to thud a little bit more in practice. When you're dinged up, you can't really thud as much in practice, but probably need to thud more even though we're dinged up. It's that fine balance of do you practice and tackle, get somebody hurt when you're dinged up, or do you not practice tackling and then not tackle well? Well, man, that's a tough battle. So I would say from my perspective where I can be better, because that's always what I look at. When you fail, it's not, oh, you failed, it's why you failed. And I always look internally. Maybe I, as that coach, need to have our guys thud more, tackle more, regardless of the injury, kind of than the depth scenario. We still have to tackle at times more than we're doing now. So it's more thud, more tackle is the way that I think I can improve our football team.
And that actually kind of led to my follow-up. I was going to say, what's the toughest part about that fine line in between? Because, I mean, all teams, obviously, you said throughout the country, are dealing with it this time of year anyway. But what's that fine line for you as a coach to look at that?
Yeah, you don't know unless you win or lose, unless it works. you'll figure it out team by team. Like I don't think there's a magic formula to it when you kind of get some guys dinged up. I think, and then it's okay. The guys that are dinged up that need to play, well, they can't tackle either because they can't hit practice, right? So it's like that fine balance. But I definitely think I don't know if there's a perfect answer to your question. I think it's more we got to do more of it. You'll learn as you go. I know after last week we definitely need to thud more than we did this last week. I know that, but I think it's just going to be a week by week thing. And the one thing I know is our guys like football. They're physical. We stopped the run in 17 straight games. So I feel pretty good that we're going to respond and be a physical football team. Now we play one of the best teams in the country. So that's a great challenge.
George. Hey, Coach. George Lenz, Devil's Digest. Tyson Brown was notably absent from Saturday's game despite being left off the injury report. I was curious about his status or kind of role going forward.
Yeah. He probably should have been on the injury report. Like from we thought he was playing the entire way. He kind of tweaked it. Obviously, the rain and having an ankle, that was something that he practiced all week, so he was fine. But there, it was like, man, that's not the best move for him. I don't really have much to say with that, but because he was cleared practicing right at all. So yeah, maybe he should. I don't know exactly what he should have been listed on because he was available in the game though. Like he could have played in the game. We just didn't play him in the game just because of where he was at. But he definitely was available. So maybe he shouldn't be. I don't know. It's an availability report. So he was available. So I don't know where that guy is, right? From that perspective. But he definitely was available. He moving forward, we're going to address if he's going to be available moving forward.
Coach, two-parter here. Part one, have you ever had a chance to cross paths with Coach McGuire before you met last year in Lubbock? And part two, how much respect do you have for a guy that took over a program that was kind of in limbo when he took over, and he's taking them to new heights, kind of like what you've done here in Tempe?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of success winning football games at all levels. A lot of respect for him. He's a really good person. His wife's a really, really nice lady. Met her a few times at some of these head coaching events. So I've got a lot of respect for him. I mean, where this program is now, I mean, this program as a whole is all in. And, he's all in. He's done a phenomenal job building a roster and building a football team. But they're definitely a program that's all in. They're definitely all in to win now. They're definitely all in to win in the future with the types of investments they're making. So, yeah, I got nothing but respect for him. I think he does a phenomenal job. He's a really good person.
Couple more, right?
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, Jeff had to play in a really awkward circumstance, and I don't think it's starting to be most of the weather. Took a pretty good performance from what you played on Saturday. What do you make of not only how he played, but the passing game as a whole, really having to do with all the weather issue?
Yeah, I mean, rain is rain. I mean, not ideal for a passing team or for a team, with some of your best players, best player being a wide receiver. That's not an ideal scenario, right? From that perspective, but still plays that could have been made out there. We've got to improve that. I thought Jeff threw the ball where it should go. A few times, the ball was probably overthrown or something like that. A couple times, but for the most part, I thought he played really, really well. He didn't take early down sacks. We were in real offense. When you get down 28 at the end of the third quarter or whatever that is, you're not in real offense anymore. So to his defense, he really only played 6 real drives, and most of those drives were extended drives that he made the play when it was necessary. So even through all the negative, there are some positives there. And I was really pleased with how he played, and I got a lot of confidence in Jeff.
It's a Jeff question too, but I was following up with Chris when you said next man up. You said, hey, everybody's got strengths. I had just answered it, but what are the strengths of Jeff Sims that you see and then you mind from us? I know you won't say strategically, but talk about your conversations with him post game or Sunday, or when you talk to him today. Like, he's a backup quarterback, so limited reps. You got to have an expectation at that level. Yet he's not a redshirt freshman either. What were the conversations?
Yeah, my conversation was I was proud of how he came in and played. Like, he was definitely not the reason for the result. I can say that with a lot of confidence. Both in 17 opportunities, one-on-one balls, and just that the rate of winning wasn't high enough. Whether it's for variety of things. So for us, we got to be able to be better in those scenarios. But conversations for him is, listen, we threw the ball, we're supposed to cover, we're on time. For the first 3 quarters, you didn't take early down sacks. You managed the game, you got us out of negative plays into positive plays. We did a lot of positive. I mean, we're 2 big balls in the red zone in the first 2 drive or away from the first 2 of the first 3 drives in the first half being touchdowns. Like, they're that close. So we're literally 2 man throws away in the low red zone from 3 drives, 14 points. It's 14-14. They're getting the ball with 3 minutes left. So you can get, like I said, football is such a unique game because scores, but relative competition can be kind of skewed. And they whooped our butt in all phases. But we were that close. 1 or 2 plays could have completely changed the narrative that people have on him in the game. But I was very, very pleased. My conversations is I got a lot of faith in you. You've won a lot of football games. Let's roll.
You talked about Texas Tech being all in. That's been all in. What does all in like ASU and how closer?
Yeah, I mean, I think all in is constantly changing. I think all in is saying wherever, the top end is, we're gonna get there. I think so. Whatever it takes, I guess, is all in, and that number is changing, and that's what all in is constantly changing. It's like the person in seat 1 goes all in, and the other person's like, I like my hand too. I'm all in. Another $100 in there. Third person's like, you know what? I like my hand too. Or $100 in there. Like, I'm all in. All in's changing. So I think in college football right now, all in is constantly changing. So where are we from that? It's a moving target. And you got to be willing to adapt and move and do what's necessary to hit all in. And them as a program, they're definitely all in, from their facilities to Coach McGuire and his staff, the team they put together. They've done a phenomenal job, and their program's all in, and you can see the results. And like I said, I'm excited. This should be a fun game, fun environment, and I'm ready to rock.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Here, you said that Max is going to be out for a while.
Max,
Right.
not Max.
Audio Jungle.
There we are. Welcome back, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps. Yes, I am Michael Caratinito at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. As you know, check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, my IG at michael.caratinito.5. Yes, as you know. I know you greatly know that. Yes, I know you totally greatly know that. So, yes, but that being said, yeah, so just heard from Coach Dillingham. You guys saw that, which was very awesome. As you guys know, again, tough loss to Utah this last weekend, this past Saturday, but you heard him. You talk about there. You know, Jeff Sims played. He thought obviously played really well. They had the ball. They had drives. They had the ball quite a while, guys. If you watched the game or if you were there, you know. So yes, sorry about that. Yeah, it was insanely tough game in Salt Lake City, but we'll get to that. But volleyball had one hell of a weekend, my friends. Yes, as you know, they beat Baylor, ranked earlier in the week, and then they turned around and beat ranked Colorado. Yes, Colorado was ranked 24th, as you guys all know. So, yeah, absolutely awesome there. Got a little bit of got some volleyball highlights for you. I'm going to bring in here as the again, just absolutely awesome how they how this team just keeps rolling. I mean, it was they did get pushed to 4 sets. Again, Colorado, the 24th ranked team, having a solid, very solid season. As I talked about on Friday, as you guys know. But yes, here's bringing some highlights from volleyball.
ASU by 4 points.
Nice job serving the seam. Right on cue, ASU first ace of this match, and great job serving the seam there between Barilovic and Sarah Morgan, the libero.
Also BYU, and then here against Arizona State. But when you were looking at that graphic there, those games seem pretty winnable for Colorado, but they dropped set number 1 here as Arizona State kept that first set by 5 points. And the number 18
to the Devils, and the number 8 team in the country gets a solid win there.
And that's how this second set is going to end. 5 service errors for Colorado in that second set. 5 free points for Arizona State then. And ASU wins that second one by 7 points, 25-18. Can Colorado battle back?
So, yeah, that was the first and second set. They ended up taking it in 4. Colorado did take the third set and ends up taking it in 4. Or Devils ended up taking it in 4. But, yeah, like I said, Colorado took that third set and wins it in 4 as they go from there. So, yes, very very awesome. First, again, the Devils at 8 beat 2 ranked teams. Again, I know it depends on what teams above them did as well too, but could they crack the top 5 tomorrow or later today, actually I should say. But yeah, the Devils, that is awesome. Hockey takes the Icebreaker tournament hosted here in Tempe. The Pirates team beat Notre Dame 5-3 on Friday night. And again, man, it was just, there were 5 goals alone scored in the second period. But yes, I'll get to that. But we're going to take a quick break again. When I get back, wrap up volleyball, wrap up hockey here on Pitchfork Lunch.
Audio Jungle.
All right, and we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Kirsten, as you know, at Diablos00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Yes, you guys know it. You love it. Yeah, check out Show Live every day, Monday to Friday, 12 to 1. You can also hit it up on the good old IG, the Instagram, at michael.carrotenudo.5. See my names, and the dots and then the 5 at the end. And YouTube. Guys, go to YouTube, watch live. Again, you can go to YouTube. To get there, you can watch live and subscribe to the channel, because anything you have missed, like if you just missed Coach Dillingham, again, talking Monday after he has a tough loss. But, the good news is it's not the last game of the season. And, yeah, it's going to take a little bit to bounce back. I mean, TCU did lose this last weekend again, as did Iowa State. Texas Tech did not lose, who's the next opponent for the Devils. But, BYU and Utah play next week. In Provo. So again, it'll be very, the Devils, again, they're not out of it, but that was, that was their first conference loss. So again, 4-2 overall after 6, first conference loss. But it is a costly game. You heard Coach talking about it. Ben Coleman went down in, I want to say the first quarter. And unfortunately, he's done for the year. As Iris Fiasau, coach announced, has surgery, but he will be eligible for a medical red shirt. So that in and of itself, my friends, is awesome. Well, again, not that he got hurt, but that they can file the waiver for the medical red shirt. Also. Yeah, so they can file the waiver for that, which is a wonderful thing. And what was I going to say to you? X will be out for a little more. Xavier Alford will be out for a little bit more. Sam Levitt, obviously big there. It is day to day. Coach, you heard him. I don't need to repeat it yet, but had a very funny explanation there. If you're being honest and truthful, then people think like, well, okay, wait, that's weird. What's going on? But nonetheless, Sam Levitt will be day to day. Xavier Alford, again, out for a little while longer. Ben Coleman's going to be done for the season. Zyrus Fiasau, obviously, like I said, linebacker, again, just again, it's tough out for the season. But yeah, I mean, it was a tough one against Utah. Coach talked about that. A little bit more tomorrow, too, as we get into prep for Texas Tech, but kind of wrap up Utah. But I do want to get to volleyball. Obviously, they take 2. They beat Baylor, as you guys all know. And then they turn around and beat Colorado. Awesome sauce. Yeah, that's what I say to that. Yeah, they turn around and they beat Colorado. 3-1. Kill-wise, Noemi Glover, again, 21. Bailey Miller, double digits as well with 13 kills. Although Glover hit 486, guys, which is insane. Bailey Miller, 103. She probably says it's a little low, but again, 16 digs. 16 digs for Bailey Miller, and she had, again, one of the most just phenomenal ups. Again, the pancake, everything going, and yeah, just awesome sauce from Bailey Miller. Also had 4 blocks. Naomi Glover had 5 blocks. Colby Neal had 5 blocks with 6 kills. And yeah, just Tatum Parrott getting back in the mix with 9 kills. You saw her in the highlight, but yeah, 3-1. They beat Colorado. But yeah, they took game 1, 25, or set 1, 25-20. The second set, they took 25-18. The third set, they dropped 25-20. And then the fourth, they took it, the Devils did 25-23. So again, it's just, I mean, again, 24th ranked team in the country wasn't going to come in and not battle, but Colorado, but the Devils get it as, I mean, you look at it, ASU had 12 blocks. They had 54 kills, 7 aces, in which, let's see, Billy Miller had 1, Tatum Parrott had 2, Colby Neal had 1, and Ella Lewis had 1 as well, and Sydney Henry had 2. So both Sydney Henry and Tatum Parrott had 2, and then Ella Lewis, Colby Neal, and Bailey Miller had the other 3. So again, 7 aces for this team. Yeah, 7. Yeah, and you'll take just about you're almost to a third of the points that you need for a set there. But 7 more aces to Colorado's. Colorado did have 6. Yeah, but 12 blocks to 10. So, yeah. But yeah, 54 kills for the Devils, 15 in the first. Colorado had 12. They both had 10 in the second set. In the third, Colorado took that third set, but there was 15-13. And then the Devils just crushed it in the fourth, 16-9 in the kill advantage there. And it's funny, both teams each had 3 aces apiece in that fourth set. So, like I said, you knew Colorado was going to battle. But yeah, it's good to see again, getting obviously the team, knock on wood, getting healthier. And yeah, I mean, this 6-2, the 2 setters, I mean, Bryn Covell had 12 assists as Sydney Henry had 5 assists. So, or 35. She had 32. She's number 5. She had 32. Again, along with 2 aces and 10 digs. And Bryn Covell had 10 digs as well, too. But like I said, Bailey Miller led the team with 16 digs. And yeah, Sydney Henry with 10. Faith Frame had 7. Oh, wait. Sydney Henry had 10 digs, as did Bryn Covell. So both setters with 10 digs. And Faith Frame had 7. So yeah, 60 for the match. You'll take that. That means obviously ball not hitting court, leading to your team getting points, right? You kids know this. But yeah, that being said, just again, a phenomenal match there by the Devils as so yeah, so now the Devils improve to 14-2 overall, 5-0 in conference play, undefeated again at home. I've talked about that. Coach talked about that, but 4-1 away, 2-1 on neutral sites. So yeah, feeling pretty dang good as again, they took their first 2 matches of the season. They took on Northern Iowa before they headed back to the great state of Pennsylvania to take on the defending national champs in Penn State, who was number 2 at the time, and Pitt, who was, I want to say, number 3 at the time. And they beat Penn State in 4-3-1, lost to Pitt at 3-0. But then after that, so they won the first 2, dropped 1, and then they won 4 in a row, and then went to Texas again with not playing with a true middle, as we've talked about. But hey, got to roll the ball out and play. And they did fall to Texas 3-0. And then after the Texas loss, they rattled off. They've rattled off 8 in a row. Yeah, 8 in a row. Pepperdine, GCU, Milwaukee, Kansas, K-State, Utah, Baylor, and CU up next. They are in Provo this Thursday, kids. And we know what atmosphere that is. Again, they a little salt and vinegar for the Devils took them out in Provo 2 years ago. Coach Van Neal's first season. And then in the tournament, they were hosting, and the Devils able to advance to the Sweet 16 there, and so there's a little vinegar, and we know how BYU fans travel here anyway. So again, this Thursday, ESPN Plus, 5:00. I will keep reminding you, don't forget. But that being said, they have BYU Thursday, and then on Saturday, they will stay in the state of Utah and head over to Salt Lake to take on the Utes, who, they've already beat 3-0 just back on October 4th. So 14 days later, 2 weeks later, they're playing them again. And then October 25th, guys, a week from that, they are down in Tucson. And that is a 6 p.m. game, and it's on ESPN Plus. So, again, just give me a little heads up on what's on tap. But yes, BYU next team this Thursday. We'll talk more about it. But they again, this team, like I said, 14-2 overall, and their only 2 losses come to the number. Well, I think they're ranked 9th right now. They were ranked 3rd, I want to say, at the time. I want to say they were ranked 3rd at the time. But Pitt, let's see, where is Pitt ranked right now? So, and these are as of last week. Let's see, ASU. Oh, well, no. Oh, they're actually out right now. So ASU went up 1 spot from beating 2 ranked teams. They went from 8 to 7. So, hey, congrats. I was going to talk about it tomorrow. But, so Nebraska is at 1. They're 16-0. Texas still at 2, 14-0. There's your 1 loss. Kentucky's at 3. Louisville's at 4. Stanford is at 5. Pitt is at 6. So, they're at 6. And they're actually down 2 spots because they were at 4. They're 13-3. And again, I don't know. Just because, they beat ASU early in the season, but 13-3, 14-2, we have 1 more win, 1 less loss. I think that, makes up for falling to Pitt. But again, number 7 in the country, up 1 spot, highest obviously ranked Big 12 team. And for the Big 12, so ASU is at 7, TCU is at 11, Kansas is at 15, BYU is at 19, so that's who's next for ASU. Baylor's at 20, and Colorado State at 24. So that's 6 teams in the top 25. So Colorado State at 24. Baylor dropped from 16 to 20. But Colorado, 14-3. There were 24, say 24. So, yeah, the 6 from the Big 12, Colorado, again, at 24, Baylor at 20, BYU at 19, Kansas at 15, TCU at 11, and then, yes, ASU at 7-11. Let's play a little dice, huh? But, yeah, so, again, not surprised. We'll get more into it tomorrow. But hockey, yes, like I did mention to you, they did go 2-0. They did go 2-0 on this phenomenal stretch as they beat Notre Dame 5-3 on Friday night. And, yeah, I mean, you look at the scoring. Again, this is crazy. You look at the scoring. So all three are Devils up 2-0 after one, right? At the 16-11 mark, Kyle Smolin, an absolute laser near side post. It was on the power play, and the defender was there with the puck. It kind of had to take it back, and he creates a little separation and just goes near side post, zings it past Notre Dame goalie. Kempf was in goal. Yeah. Yeah, Kempf was in goal. Nicholas Kempf, sorry, for Notre Dame. Yeah, he was in goal. But yeah, the Devils, I mean, like I said, 2 in the first. So Kyle Smolin and Samuel Alfano and Logan Morrell with the assists. And that was on the power play. Like I said, just if you haven't seen the highlight, oh my goodness gracious. I will bring it to you tomorrow as we're getting tight on time here, but I will bring it to you tomorrow. But nonetheless, and then Noah Powell gets his first goal as a Devil. Kyle Smolin, though, right there on the assist, makes it 2-0, and that's at the 17:50 mark. And then, so those are 2 in the first period. And then 53 seconds into the second, Carmelo Crandall, who your coach talked about last week when I asked about the young guys, saying, like the speed, and he was talking about how, Carmelo played against Penn State as well. So, yes, Carmelo Crandall gets his first goal. Bennett Shimmick and Sean McGurn with the assists. So that made it 3-0. And then 36 seconds later, that was at even strength. 36 seconds later at even strength, Henry Nelson gets a goal for Notre Dame, making it. Carmelo Crandall made it 3-0. And then, 36 seconds later, Henry Nelson for Notre Dame makes it 3-1. And then at the 12:32 mark on the power play, Paul Fisher slams in the power play goal to make it 3-2. But then, oh no, the Devils weren't done. Kelsberg, pardon me, and Samuel Urban get the assists to make it 5-2 at the 17:53 mark. Made it 5-2, and then Notre Dame did get the last goal of the game, but it was at the 12:10 mark of the third period. Made it 5-3, even strength. Oh, and both of Key Van's goals were even strength, by the way, too, which is phenomenal. And then, like I said, Carter Slaggert. But you look at, ASU, 38 total shots. Notre Dame had 50. I mean, again, they're just firing away late in the third. They outshot the Devils 20-10 in the third. But, yeah, the Devils outshot them 15-12 in the first. And, 15 of those shots, 2 were goals in the second. Notre Dame outshot ASU 18-13. But of those 13 shots, 3 of them hit the back of the net. So, and the Devils didn't score in the third, but 10 shots. So 50-38 altogether, saves 47 for the Devils, 33 for Notre Dame. But face-offs, I love this, 33-28 advantage. Power plays, well, but neither team was great. The Irish were 1 for 5, and the Devils were 1 for 6. Penalty minutes, 6 altogether for 23 minutes for Notre Dame, and 6 for the Devils for 12 minutes. So, but yeah, they get that win 5-3. And then on the next night, they're playing in the championship game, and they turn around and play Alaska Fairbanks, who beat Quinnipiac. Alaska Fairbanks beat Quinnipiac, and then 5-2, and then that and then ASU turn around and beat Alaska Fairbanks, putting up 5 goals both nights. So they're 2-2 icebreaker champions. Again, they hosted it, but who cares? They're champs. And now they will play Augustana this weekend again at they're at Augustana. Pardon me. Sorry, at Midco Arena. So they hit the road for the first time as they're at Augustana the 17th and 18th. And then they have like a week off, the 24th, 25th off. But then Halloween, they are at Miami of Ohio, NCHC play as they start that. They start out at Miami. So, yes, October 31st, Halloween, and All Souls Day on November 1st. So, that's what they have coming up at Augustana this week. So it'll be cool to catch up with see what Coach Powers has to say tomorrow. And, we shall go from there. But, yes, so stoked. Hockey 2-2. Again, goals start going in. Guys start again. And Coach talked about it. And believe me, you're going to trust Coach Powers on this. I mean, as you hear coaches. So, nonetheless, and then soccer, oh, man, tough one. They lost to Colorado on Friday night. It was 2-0. So soccer is now 9-3-2. And they are 2-3-1 in conference play. So looking to, again, get back at 500 and above. But they took out number 24 Colorado. Well, this Thursday, guys, they're back home. They're little how you doing back home? They are taking on Texas Tech, who's number 11 in the country right now, guys. So, yes, it's a conference matchup. It's a conference foe. Texas Tech here Thursday in soccer, Friday in football. Get on out there. But, again, it was 2-0. And Pauline Nellis had a lot of saves. Colorado got 1 goal each half, I think, in the 39th minute and the 78th minute. So, again, battling back and forth, number 24 team. But now you got to string some wins because they're home for Texas Tech, at Iowa State, at Utah, and then they come home for TCU, and then they finish the regular season October 30th, Thursday, at that school down south. So, that is that. So Arizona, October 30th. And that is where they're at. So anyway, I am going to get on out of here. And again, I'll recap more soccer tomorrow. Obviously, a little volleyball too, as they get set to take on BYU, the 7th team in the country. Forks up to that. Get forks up to football. Look, it was a tough one. It was physical. Her coach talked about it. I'll break it down more tomorrow. Again, you guys know me. I know it's not all rainbows and unicorns, but for volleyball, it's kind of that way. The number 7 team in the country. You beat 2 ranked opponents in your conference, and you only go up 1 spot. Come on. But anyway, there's a lot of good. Hey, look, you know what? Like coaches do mean this. They don't care. You take care of business, you roll it out, you go from there. So, but they will be headed to BYU on Thursday. So, and then Utah Saturday. So anyway, have a phenomenal rest of your Monday. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And you guys know it. As the reigning Big 12 champs, women's volleyball reminded me, yes, it is hashtag our state, because it is Team Down South, just recognize. And go Devils. And you guys know it. As always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pull. Touchdown. Quick flag.
Third down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. Revenge on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.